This is Story Talk, a series of online conversations featuring storytellers and artists from different parts of the world, especially curated for StoryFest Singapore's 5th anniversary. Today, I'm going to be speaking with art therapist and visual artist Chan Shu Yin, and we're going to be talking all about visual storytelling and the art of illustrating for stories. Thank you for joining us, Shu Yin.
Hi Kamini, thanks for having me.
So Shu Yin, you're both an art therapist as well as a visual artist. So could you share with us a little bit of background into your art therapy practice with stories, as well as your visual art practice and how you work with stories?
So for art therapy, we are focusing on the person's story. I believe that everyone has their own personal story to tell, and it is about helping them to realize and to discover what is a story that they want to tell and how to put it into the art form, as well as if they want to talk about it later on. So for art therapy, of course, it is a private setting and they are very personal stories, so it's not for the public to hear. But for art, right, it's of course it is for everyone to see, and if you would be surprised that there are a lot of parallels between personal stories as well as art that we show to everyone. So I believe that at the end of the day, everyone beneath our mask and our external persona, we all are very similar, and that is the shared humanity that we have.
So you have a very long-standing relationship with the Storytelling Centre Limited. You know, you've illustrated all our banners, a lot of our stories, and you've really breathed life and brought our stories to life through images, design, and illustration. And now you're working on our commemorative project for the 5th anniversary of StoryFest Singapore, which is our Book of Tales. And Shu Yin is one of the invited visual artists who has illustrated one of 5 stories written by our international storyteller, writer, artists. And the story that you have illustrated is Martina's story about the bulbul and the tortoise. What was that process like, Shu Yin?
Firstly, when you approached me to do this illustration for the Book of Tales, the first thing that I do is to read the text that was given to me, which is like the first draft of the story written by Martina. And the story really resonated with me because it's about something about a part of you, and like whether you should treasure that part of you or should you sacrifice it for someone else. And when I'm thinking of how to illustrate this, right, because it's just one image, so I think about what is the main point of the story. Yeah, and this is the final illustration.
So Shu Yin, when you illustrated the story of the bulbul and the tortoise, what were the techniques that you decided to use? And also, how do you decide to frame an entire folktale in just one scene? And what are some of the considerations? What characters to depict? What moments in the story? How do you come to these decisions?
The technique that I use for this illustration is the watercolor, and I like to keep it very, very simple and basic. I only use like 3 to 4 colors for most, if not all, of my watercolor paintings, and this helps to keep it cohesive, so it doesn't look weird, and like you can tell that the colors, they all have the same colors throughout the painting. And how I decide is that because I only have one image to illustrate for this entire story, so I think about what is the main thing that I want to show about this story, which was the pivotal moment for me, which I felt the most emotional about. And it was the main character, which was the bulbul, and it was like plucking out its feathers. And also you get to see the main characters as well as, the tortoise is also the main character, and you can tell that they have certain expressions on their faces. So like you will, maybe if you see this image, you'll wonder like what is their relationship with one another. Yeah.
So we've been talking mainly about how you work with storytellers or stories that are from folk tales and mythology and how you illustrate them visually. But your practice in art therapy relies a lot on personal narratives and true stories, which are not really fiction. And what are some projects that you can share with us that links your work both as a visual artist and as an art therapist?
This is a comic that I illustrated before I started studying for art therapy, and it was the seed for this was started when I went for a workshop for writers and illustrators. So illustrators normally, many illustrators, we don't illustrate our own stories, but we illustrate for other people's stories. But for this workshop, we were pushed and motivated to come up with our own stories. And for most of us, the things that move us the most are from our childhood. And this is about my experience of having eczema when I was growing up. And so I actually developed it into like a short comic, and I printed it out. So here are some of the images that it shows, like scratching myself at home, and also when I go out, like the kind of stigma that I faced. I just wanted to see how I could, make it into like a booklet. And books actually was nice enough to like buy a few copies from me to put on their shelf for sale. So as art therapists, we also have to do our own art and our own reflection for our own to process our personal issues, like which can also help us to journey with our clients better.
So in your practice, as a visual artist, mainly working in the art therapy realm, there must be some challenges and difficulties that you face. What would be something that is close to your heart that you'd like to share with the listeners and viewers? Some of these challenges that you face.
I think as artists, we always care. Of course, we care how many people actually like our art, like whether people will pay for it or how many likes we get on social media. But at the end of the day, we are telling something from within us, and it's very important to recognize and value our own story. Whether or not, it can make money. Of course, it is a privilege to be able to make art, which is your passion, as well as earn a living from it. And not everyone can do that. But I kind of like to separate earning a living from my art for passion, because it takes away the pressure for like what I create. Yeah, and helps me to remain authentic as an artist.
What kind of stories are you drawn by? What kind of stories are you attracted to illustrate, to bring to life, whether it's for working with storytellers or authors, or whether it's to do something as a personal project?
They call it slice of life.
Yes.
So it's about personal things, and I like it because you don't really hear about it often. And like, you wonder like, oh, do people really care about all these stories? But actually at the heart of it, when you see this or read about these stories, like they seem very unique, but at the same time, other people can also relate with it. So that's what I like about them, and it's not something that you get to hear about every day. Yeah, that's the personal ones. And then there's the animal ones, because I love animals, so I like bringing animals to life through the artwork. Although you can say that it's anthropomorphizing the animals, but actually the animals, they do have these characters in themselves, because I have pets and I do observe, like the things that they do are also the things that we do. So, and also my passion with animals links up with my passion in nature, and I'm very, very happy to collaborate with writers like Esther Vincent, who founded and founded and edited the Tiger Moth Review. So she actually published a few of my illustrations about nature. And I'm also very happy to illustrate the cover for her upcoming poetry book called Red Earth, published by Blue Cactus Press from the US. Yeah.
Shu Yin, are you working on a project for the future? Is there something that's a work in progress, something that you're developing?
I have illustrated for the AAC manual for SPD, which is an organization that works with the disabled. And AAC is alternative and augmentative communication, and it teaches people with communication challenges on how to use AAC technical assistance, like to help them communicate. And I'm currently illustrating a second manual for them, which is AAC for caregivers, to teach the caregivers how to use AAC with their children or their partners, the people that they are helping. And I enjoy doing this work because it is for the disabled. And the interesting thing is that they want to have this illustration because they want something that people from Southeast Asia can identify with, because currently there are such manuals around, but maybe they have more of like Western characters. So the first manual was well received, and we are doing the second one now.
If there's one word of advice that you would like to give upcoming visual artists who want to work with stories, whether the stories are personal or from folklore or mythology, what would you say to them?
I would say cherish your personal voice and your authenticity when you are working on art, whether it's for yourself or for other people, because that is something that you bring to the artwork, and nobody else can have that same element as you. So I would say just keep making art. Like, even if you don't succeed right away or get clients right away, just keep doing it and doing what you love. And eventually, maybe one day somebody will approach you to work on something together.
I've been speaking to visual artist and art therapist Chan Shu Yin. If you'd like to find out more about the different applications of storytelling and how different practitioners use stories, please do watch the rest of our videos on StoryFest Singapore's YouTube channel under the series Story Talk. Thank you and bye-bye. Thank you, Shu Yin.
Thank you.